good.
All right, Finance Committee, January 5th, 9 a.m. Randy, could you call the roll?
Aaron.
Here.
Geiger.
Here.
Watts. Hernandez.
Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Mr. Geiger, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Do we have any public comments? Okay, hearing none, we'll go to Myron Munyon and the general liability insurance update.
Really not much going on this time of year. All the applications been signed, everything's in. I don't have anything for you guys. If you guys have any questions or anything.
We're good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go to Susie Werner, group health insurance.
Things are going good. We deductibles reset January 1st, so you'll see that it's now the calendar year deductible. But things are going great. It's been a good feed with Envision, Blue Cross to Envision, and that is working well. Also, we haven't had any issues or problems. So it's been great.
Very good.
All right.
Okay, thank you. And this month, we have Bernie McCarty with Area Wide for our IT Area Wide update.
Yeah, everything's going pretty well. All the projects mainly done. One thing I know we were trying to work on was getting a backup internet connection here. I gave Jill some pricing on MediaCom business account. So basically, if your guys' internet goes down currently, there's nothing there to have you guys back up. If 911 uses, all your phone system now is on that. So we recommend going with the $169 price for MediaCom as a backup internet. It gets you 100 meg down and 10 up. We just want the higher up speed just because of the phone system. So that's kind of our suggestion to get that in place maybe, this year for a backup internet connection.
Okay. I know a lot of the discussion, yes, for everybody sitting here is not that on finance, so there's a lot of discussion, young year and stuff like that, and Jill as well about when the internet goes down, obviously that causes big problems with phones and all that stuff now, so having some kind of a
There's other options.
yeah. And
Or less,
sorry,
or less, faster.
okay.
I think I've given the name to somebody, but I can go further. And we can talk whatever.
Go ahead. I mean, if there's
Well, I think Connexus is fiber optic.
okay.
I know my home, it's $80 a month, $75 a month for 300 meg. And you can go higher than that. For 100, I think you can almost get a gig. So they have to be in the area. There was no charge to install.
Should look into that,
I
yeah.
get a phone number to whoever needs to have it, and
Definitely, yeah. Have you guys looked at looked into that?
No, I haven't looked at Connexus, but I know we did look at Metro. I gave Joe, which was.
the service in town is marginal.
Now they will charge you different from home versus business. So it,
And that could be,
yeah.
but I'm just saying that the friends I have with the Metro cable system, the coaxial cable system is pretty marginal for service and reliability, so
So is Connexus Metro too?
negative,
No, two
that
different.
I know of.
Okay. If you want to give Jill the name to Connexus, I can give them a call and get a quote.
These people are out of Paxton,
Okay.
so.
Very good. Good to know. Maybe we should make a note that we need it. Jill and Bernie can talk about that, then we'll figure out where they're at and whatever. Those are our options, or if there's any other options, and
AT&T.
I think we,
Okay. And Verizon.
We've looked at them and they're pretty pricey when you go to fiber. Yeah.
Could be.
I think,
Yeah.
Could be.
I couldn't remember the exact details, but I feel like we had AT&T before, correct?
Mhm.
And that was, I don't know.
And we're trying to get a different provider that way than current what we have. I think that way in case one of our providers goes down, this backup is completely separate and goes out a different way too.
I have Starlink, and it's good when you live in the country, but I've read all the reviews, compared to what you're talking about, I'm sure would be much better. So, Okay, well, let's look into that one and then maybe we can make a decision next month based off that, if these are our two best options or if we've evaluated those other ones, so we look at Connexus and hopefully get to a point of making some decisions so we have some backup system in place. Avoid a bad situation in the future. Okay, anything else, Bernie, or
That's it for me.
anything on like what projects and stuff we got?
We don't have any projects currently happening right now. We did a lot of our major projects last year.
Yeah.
Adam's been doing a lot of cleanup back end work. And he's also still pretty busy on Tuesdays with department head requests. Lately, it's been a lot of remote work, being able to connect and things like that. But other than that, it's just a lot of cleanup on the back end right now.
We have some minor equipment that needs to be replaced, but nothing like compared to last year's projects. I mean, we're talking like small switches and upgrading them, but nothing out of like what we did the big infrastructure last year.
We did a lot of our big servers replacements last year, so.
Yeah, so we did a big server project last year, and then we also did what we consider like what they call a disaster recovery project too, where we have a whole, basically a mirror system over at the courthouse in like, basement there, so for redundancy.
Just for you guys, Adam is he comes on Tuesdays and he's on site and here, and we did that, 2 years ago or something?
Three.
like-
We were just talking, I was just talking to Adam about that, yeah, it's been 3
Time
years.
flies.
Yes, but he's done a lot as far as cleaning up that server room and cleaning up a lot of the connections and things like that, were just, he showed me his little map and it's amazing, so.
It's worked out. I think
It has.
the main reason why we did that was there were so many service calls and they're down in Champaign and stuff like that, and there was just having somebody just come here once a week and focus on those things ends up being cheaper, and I think all the other
Extremely
prior
familiar.
conversations, everybody, all the department heads and stuff are happy that they got some support this year, and it ends up being more cost effective having them come here, so it's been so far been a good thing, it seems like, for what everybody says. Okay, thank you, Bernie. We'll move to department head reports. Eric?
For EMA, not too much fiscally going on right now. I'm focused on getting a handful, 3 IEMA requirements that are due, including the ILCAT, Illinois Capability Assessment Thyra tool, something they need from us annually. This year it's in a different format, so pushing through that. I submitted the first revision day before yesterday, first version, and hopefully they like that. And the county emergency operation plan, that's due in a couple months, so we're working on getting that revised like we normally do. Last time it was done was 2021, so a 2-year turnaround. It's pretty normal. The state usually wants a new revision every 2 to 3 years, so we're ironing that out. Got every couple of years at the same time, they want the NIMS certificate compliance survey, so I'm working on that. Another project is that I brought up before is the hazard mitigation plan grants. Last month I reported that I hadn't heard back from the state yet. I pushed and prodded, and I got notification that FEMA has accepted our application, and they showed me the letter of the federal government accepting our application for the grants. But I've been told, hey, wait until the state gives you an execution letter before you start planning activities. So that's what I'm waiting on. Once I get that execution letter, then the first step will be put out a request for proposal for a contractor to write that hazard mitigation plan. But that's an update on that project for EMA. For the health department, not too much fiscally going on, but last night we did have our public hearing for the farmer's market fee that got passed in the state legislation last year, Public Act 1020862. If you don't mind, I'm going to take this opportunity now that I have the floor to clear up exactly what this covers. And it's on page 3 of the legislation. This covers specifically frozen potentially hazardous foods that are prepackaged at a licensed or permitted processing facility but have the main ingredient grown or raised on the farmer's farm. Or meat, poultry, dairy, and eggs raised or grown on the farm of the farmer selling the food product. So, the point of the hearing, which is required by this law, is to give locals a chance to give comments on what they think a reasonable fee should be, or if there shouldn't be a fee. Likely at the next Board of Health meeting, which is Monday, the board will decide if they're going to charge a fee for that type of thing. This is not something, typically, if somebody's selling these products at farmers markets before, they would have to get a temporary permit through us. This law kind of puts them into their own separate category now. So we're going to issue a different type of permit specifically for these people at farmers markets. It's up to the board what that fee will be. Fees are capped by state legislation in this law, depending on what they're selling. So we cannot go above a certain amount. But I wanted to make it very clear, because there's some confusion on the public, so taking every opportunity I can, that it does not cover selling your whole fruits and vegetables that you grew in your garden. It does not cover baked goods underneath the cottage food industry. Those things aren't changing, and we do not charge fees for those. So that's all I got, unless anybody got any questions for me.
I have one quick. After it goes to the Board of Health with the establishment of the fees, then does the county board have to pass an ordinance for that? We do, right? I thought that we did. I just want to make sure I have the notes that we need to be ready for that.
Thank you.
Okay. Tom?
The only thing I have is our CPA, our contract with expired November 30th. So that includes both Kankakee and Iroquois office probation officers. So we started that negotiation. We had our first meeting. I'm going to meet with the chairman hopefully this morning here and go over some things, and as we will through the entire process, but it'll be a while. So I'll keep you updated.
Okay, thank you. Brianne?
From a finance aspect, I don't have really anything to report, but I did receive yesterday from the trustee 2 resolutions for the sale of parcels that the trustee has acquired through the delinquent tax process. So I will be bringing those to the full county board for approval on Tuesday. And they're just standard. One is a actual standard sale, and one is a resolution selling the property that they had already had a contract for that the people had defaulted on. So just pretty standard stuff.
I missed you back there, Sheriff.
I think the month of December was pretty much getting ready to go with the Safety Act. Then that turned out to be on hold, so. Ben Ravens, who was hired as a correctional officer back in September, he's gonna be going to the academy, the police academy down in Champaign, this coming Sunday. We hired Delmar Owens to replace him. He'll come to us. He actually was originally from Cessna, moved out to Washington State, worked in corrections out there for the last 20 years. So that'll be really good for us. We did have Jeremy Allison from Milford. He will basically fill that spot with DCFS deputy. So once he's trained, then he'll go to a sheriff, and some people go into investigations into that. We're currently assisting DCFS with that contract with Deputy Investigator Watts. Radio upgrade, Motorola's completed the sidewalk at several locations, so they're trying to figure out how much that is going to cost, if that's an option. So other than that,
Yeah, like the Starcom stuff or no?
Yeah. They're thinking possibly 2 to 3 on the east side, because that's where the coverage is less. You get about 10 miles into Iroquois County from the east side, and everything kind of drops off that whole east side. So they looked at Wellington, they looked at Milford, they did look at a tower down in Hoopston, north of Watsika, and then up by Beaverville. So
they've got programs that show them exactly what would give them the best coverage and how high the towers are, so.
So would they be building new towers or going like an existing?
Could be an existing tower, that would be the cheapest, but it would be possibly on a water tower as well, so. So that's an option. On the back is the year incentive for 2022.
Okay, thank you. Kirk?
I'm waiting to hear back from a local banker that was interested in bidding on some CDs. They were out on vacation and COVID, so as soon as he gets back in, we're gonna go over some rates and see who's got the best rates for working on, the best we can, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Chris, you got anything for us?
I do not, I'm here for management after that.
Okay, very good.
I could just talk if you'd like.
Mr. Coroner.
For the new guys on the board here, committee here, I've got 3 deputies. 2 of them are paid out of payroll, and then 1 deputy is paid out of my automation fund. The deputy that's in my automation fund, it's not really working out his schedule with his other job and everything, so he's agreed to kind of just step back and but my chief deputy has decided that he would pick up his on-call time and stuff like that. So what I would like to do, take that money that's in my automation fund and add it to his salary since he's taking more call and vacation time. He covers my vacation time and stuff like that. So I was just gonna let you guys know that we're gonna take the money out of my automation fund, put it in payroll so Greg can get an extra for taking more call and stuff like that. So that's what I'm here for, to let you guys know that that's what we plan on doing.
Okay.
So
I don't think we need to.
No,
He's
like I
got
said, it'll
discretion
just
to
be a
do
journal
that.
entry, but it'll be easier, cause then he'll just get 1 check instead of 2.
Okay,
so that's
very good. Anything else? Or
no.
John, did you have anything?
Got most of my comments will be when we get down to the joint dispatch funding, so.
Okay. I guess then we'll move on to approval of the new 2023
Michael?
mileage rate. Oh, sorry.
I just wanted to say.
Oh, sorry, yes.
No, that's okay.
We haven't
It's
spoken this
all
morning.
good, it's fine. I just wanted to say that the audit engagement letter has been received. They are going a new route this year. It is being sent over, electronically for electronic signatures, so you can click on the link once and you sign and then it goes away. However, I did get them printed out this morning because I had contacted Hope and asked her if she could help me out by letting me have paper copies, because we were having an issue with John's links and for him to sign those papers. So just kind of an FYI that those are being signed. They've already been out 2 days. Shouldn't say they, it's just been Faith. 2 days to do some preliminary work. They are planning on coming out next week for 4 days to do some work like they normally do on site with the different departments. So just as a heads up, you'll see the auditors running around here next week.
Very good. Okay. Now we'll move on to the approval of the 2023 mileage rate. Federal government changed the rate. I think everybody got emails about that. We have to make a motion here to say we're gonna use that. Is the process correct? Yep. Okay, so what is it now? I guess I'll make a motion that we adopt the new federal IRS mileage rate. Seconded by. Okay. Call the roll.
Barons,
Or unless there was discussion, sorry.
Geiger,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes.
McTaggart,
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Next up item is discussion and action on proposed meeting and date regarding joint dispatch fees for 2023. I guess. Share your thoughts, John?
Well, as you know, you brought this up at the last meeting,
Sure.
which is good. And since that time, I've gotten into a Zoom meeting with the 911 Advisory Board. That was in December, and that was a lot of good information came out as a result of that. One of which is they have initiated a project you could call it, to determine what states around us, how they're structured for their funding of joint dispatch. I kind of wonder why that's something that wasn't done a long time ago, but maybe better late than never. So I'm not sure when those results will be available, but I think they should be very helpful insofar as being able to resolve the situation that we have in this state. And to that end, there is another meeting of that advisory board on Monday, a Zoom meeting, and I'll be attending that, so I can probably provide some additional updates on Tuesday if it's appropriate. And then on Wednesday, the 11th, Eric Raymond and I have a meeting scheduled down in Champaign with Ralph Goldall, who's a member of the 911 Advisory Board and involved with the Joint Dispatch in Champaign County. And he's one of the people that has been advocating for a better way of funding 911 and so forth. So we'll be able to share a lot of our thoughts and ideas with him, as well as to get a better appreciation for his thoughts and ideas. I'm just saying these because I think that the meeting we talked about should be held, but the information that's being developed now is going to be very helpful towards any decisions that we make. I'm not sure if that'll help us advance the decision process. The reason we were talking about having a meeting in January was to try and get a decision made on how we want to do that, so that the entities whose budget years start in May could factor those things into their budgets instead of the way it's been done in the past.
Yep.
So I guess, all that being said, I don't have a recommendation on a date to have this meeting. I think the meeting was intended to include the mayor of Watseka and the mayor of Gilman and myself and maybe our state representative, whoever that will be when we get to that point. And anyone else, the 911 board, anyone else that we think, besides yourself, that should be involved in arriving at that decision. I think ultimately it's something that probably the finance committee is the one where we would be asking the county board to, just how we're gonna approve this or structure it, so.
Well, maybe we just keep it on the agenda here and see how that develops, and we have a little bit of time here, but before we need to have something, I think probably one part of it, I know Eric's not here, but we need him, not today, but leading up to whatever that conversation is a big part of that's gonna be some kind of a projection from him and the ETSB board, or, well, I guess, what is their budget gonna look like? I mean, and I know there's unknowns and stuff, but that's gonna be part of that discussion, because no matter how we divide it up, we're gonna have to know what number we're dividing up to give to each of these other government entities that contribute, so.
And to the end of that, we have finally received notification from the union representative for the telecommunicators that they're ready to begin negotiations.
Right.
So we haven't got a date set yet, but I presume it'll be soon. I hope that the wage portions that were agreed upon with the deputies, the correctional officers, will serve as the guideline or the pathway towards that part of it, but Mr. Raymond also has another list of other items that he would like to bargain with. So we don't know where that's gonna go, but I could offer my own opinions, but right now probably it's not appropriate, so.
Okay. Well, as both those things come together, that will lead us, I think, to getting hopefully all these entities, especially the city of Watseka, a number, hopefully hopefully those negotiations don't take that long and we can have pretty rock solid numbers. Since 90% of the joint dispatch budget that is in question is the salaries, so it would be good if those negotiations were over with, because we could probably give them a pretty firm number, I would think. If we knew where we were on the negotiations, so I think we keep it on the agenda just so we don't lose sight of it and keep going forward. Okay, anything else, John, on? No, okay. Next on the agenda is the claims. Everybody got them emailed to them, but there's some paper copies we'll look around too if anyone has questions or.
I got one. On this fitness evaluation by Dr. Jason Moore and dental work for inmates on the back page. I don't know if it's the same claim, but the judicial committee saw these as well. So I'm asking, is it correct that they go before two committees, or I'm not sure why.
Normally, we do not have the judicial committee to answer that question.
Well,
I don't know if they didn't have enough people, maybe was the problem, or they did, okay. Sometimes that happens if you don't have a quorum or something, they'll send them on to us.
Approve it there.
We did.
Okay.
Because sometimes they come late too.
And it might not even be the same claim, but
That's what I'm wondering, if it's not the same claim, because anything that's turned in that comes to the finance committee,
okay.
so it may not be the same claim.
Okay.
Which one are you looking at?
I'm looking at fitness evaluation.
Yeah, they're different, they're different.
Okay.
So we had some other questions.
So these
about this.
came in after judicial reports were already ran.
This is for the murder case.
It goes either way.
Since this is the last, maybe one of the last cases.
So,
If something gets turned in late,
yeah, but why?
it comes to your,
Well, if it gets turned in tomorrow, this committee's already met. So
then it can go to the full board.
just seems like there's a
We
good
try to avoid
chance of.
that as much as possible.
Yeah, but it just seems like there's a flaw in the system if it can go to.
The flaw is some department heads don't get their stuff to the right people at the right time.
Well, and not even that, you had a good example with your,
Yeah,
with
see,
your
like,
claim.
see, here's what, Champaign County, when they bill me like January, I got my bill January 3rd from them. Well, I don't wanna make them wait another month, so I turned a bill in yesterday at judicial. And I don't like doing that, but I mean, I don't want them to have to wait till March to get paid for January.
Our county never has to wait on anybody to get paid.
Well, I mean,
I'm just saying that
yeah, I mean.
there's a cutoff and there's a cutoff.
Right. Well, I mean,
Okay, that's fine.
When dealing with government entities, as a private business, we take into consideration that sometimes we won't get paid that month because of when their cutoff is. But it's,
So a lot of us in business are that way.
Yeah,
But
you know,
Okay.
they have their schedule just like we have our schedule.
So if we can pay them, we're gonna pay them soon.
And they're, and to avoid some of that,
how does that affect budgeting? Or do you change, you make a journal entry to get them all over the same buckets? Then, because how does it affect budgeting?
It doesn't, cause when those claims come in, what happens is they get entered in for the end of the month date. So it's not a specific date that they fall on, it's just for the end of the month date that it falls on.
For your end budgeting, I mean, as far as doesn't this $4,300, whatever it was, go into the finance side of budgeting
No.
and then?
Cause it's coming out, if you notice on the top of your page, it comes out of the accounts payable for 20003, which is the judicial side.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
Different committees can get out of the same journal bucket, you're saying?
Yeah, each committee, each department has their own accounts payable line that their funds come out of. So like for finance, ours is 20004, tax would be 20002. So they fall underneath their specific department and, fund and department and then their accounts payable number.
and on most cases where this is an issue, they've already been set up as a pay immediate, right?
We have pay now approved list that has been approved by the county board, such as utilities, so when we get a utility bill, we don't have to wait for approval, we go ahead and pay that. You still see it, you'll see it on the check register page of the accounts, or of the claims listing. But every year, at the end of the year, accounts payable, which is in my office, will send out a claims due list. So these claims need to be due on the specific date by 2 p.m. So we can get them processed and get them in report form to send to committee. However, we hold finance as long as we can, because if any additional claims come in late, we try to get them pushed through. I understand what you're saying too, and it is kind of frustrating sometimes, and I voiced this a couple of different times with different committees, department heads, whatever, that it was turned in late. It kind of holds us up too, because she can't run reports until she ran them last night.
Right.
So, but unfortunately, I mean, sometimes that happens, and
Another
we
day,
just
no
try
problem.
to
Thank you.
do the best that we can with that, so.
It doesn't impact. The flaw in the whole thing is that we're approving it and not the judicial committee.
Right.
And they're the ones that normally look at that, and we don't necessarily have the background of it, I guess would be the idea.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the only people that really need to approve it is the full county board, and we're just a group of people that are
Checks and
looking it
balances.
over, and then we send it to the full county board, because the full county board could undo everything we say today.
Yeah, and you know.
That's
the-
the annoyance of committees, quite frankly, is they're good in the sense that
But
we
the
can
checks
have
and balances
discussion.
is good, because then you guys take a little further detailed look at it, and then it goes to county board where, you know.
But no committee has
Yeah,
more
that
power
happens.
than like full county board, is the moral of the story, so that's just one of the things we often complain about in been on the board is we have all these discussions at the committees, and then it can all be undone by the full county board anyway, so, which isn't the case in this situation, I'm sure, but other times where the management committee deliberates on something for 6 months and goes back and forth and has all these discussions and decides this is what we're doing, and then it gets overridden by the rest of the board, so that happens fairly frequently. Which, then people go, well, why do we even have the committee discussion if we're just gonna rediscuss it? But that's from a which account stated and stuff like that. This committee does no special.
And no matter what, I mean, the committee members know enough that you ask questions about that. And that's what would happen to judicial too, so.
So these claims that I just spoke about, they have not been presented to
No.
different than what was presented to judicial?
No.
Yes. No,
These are different.
yes.
These come out of the state's attorney's budget, or where do those actually hit?
Courts. If you notice on the top of the
Yeah,
page,
right.
it'll say Department number 230 courts, and they come out of the Judicial Committee AP number 20003. So they got turned in after judicial was already sent out and completed, so all the overflow tends to come to finance.
Could I, excuse me, add, Scott, all the bills are there too, and it's sometimes interesting to take a look at the bills, you get a little bit more detail. Amanda's got the pile of them there, and judicial traditionally has always had, not by design, it just is what it is, the largest number of bills to approve as a committee.
They're the most departments.
That's all of the judicial, right?
I'll do it later.
So how much money have we paid Dr. Simone there? Just curiosity. There were more yesterday.
Oh, 4,500 today, and I apologize, I wasn't here yesterday, so I haven't looked at those. But, I will tell you here in just a minute.
There's two different cases here.
230.
You remember what it is?
I don't think any other Dr. Simone got paid.
Just make it up.
All of the Dr. Simone claims they're on for today. There was none on for judicial.
It was last month as well.
Is Dr. Simone an expert witness? providing for the trial.
You'd have to look at the claims, cause I don't know.
They're always high priced. We pay their
Just like
travel. We pay them by the hour to be here, to testify. We pay their travel, whatever they want, that's what you pay, and that's what you get.
That's the job you want, be an expert.
Yeah, anytime, courts generally doesn't have a lot of claims, and when they do, it's obviously court ordered and we end up with the bill.
Any other questions? Otherwise, we'll need a motion to approve the claims. Call the roll.
Aaron's,
Yes.
Geiger,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
McTaggart.
Yes. Okay, motion carries. We have the old business. New business. Not, we'll have a motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor?